I saw so I I saw a clip on YouTube today. It was an old, what was it? It was British soldiers from, I'm not sure if it was after Second World War or at some point in history anyways. I think like around 40s, 50s, something like that. And they were interviewing them, and the journalist was asking them, basically, what do you think about guys that don't dare to jump? These were paratroopers, and so the journalist went into it with this thought that, so what do you think about guys that basically chicken out and don't jump? And it felt like the reporter was kind of trying to get them to trigger them to say something, maybe to blame them or something. The very interesting part was that every one of the soldiers, they had this huge, I was very surprised also, it was like this very large measure of understanding. Like every answer was basically, what did they say? It was just basically that they don't know why the other guy doesn't jump, so they didn't want to judge or say anything bad about the other guys. The answer was basically just like, I can't know his reasoning or his reasons for not jumping, so it's not my place to speak on that. And they even said something along the lines of maybe there's something going on in their mind that I can't, relate to or understand. And I thought that was such a lesson for today, basically, or for any era, I think. That nowadays I see a lot of people around that, if someone else does something or chooses in a way that doesn't line up with a certain person or with their own views on how things should be done or what a person should do, then people are very quick to judge and basically give all these reasons why this other person would be wrong or horrible or wreck it for everyone. And this is a very large sentiment now, that if you don't do this, then you're going to wreck it for everyone, and you have to be responsible, and you have to etc, 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 a lot of these things. I just thought it was such a great parallel to see these guys who fought together in war and prepared for war and really horrible situations. And even when a guy, I guess basically you could say they were letting the other guys down, but they still had a huge understanding for them, and they respected the other guy even though they failed, and even though they did something that, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, right? They didn't jump, they didn't complete that part of training, the mission, but their friends, their like the comrades still understood them. I thought that was so impressive. I thought that you could learn a lot from that. You have to realize that you don't know what's best for everyone, and you don't know why someone chooses the way they choose. I think that's a great lesson for us all. You never know that. You can't assume, you can't go crazy when someone doesn't do what you, in your mind, think they should do, or maybe you expected them to say a certain thing or do a certain thing. You have to have more empathy, I guess, or more understanding, and be more forgiving for different people's choices. And I think we have way too less of that nowadays. So that's really a theme for me. There's a lot of people that do a lot of things that I think maybe is dumb, or I think is the wrong choice, or detrimental to other people. But you cannot be so quick to just go crazy, to get angry, to get, you know, in a state of like uproar. You have to realize that people are not that bad in general. I mean, I'm not talking about leaders or politicians or whatever. I'm talking about, you know, all your friends and neighbors and people around you. And it sounds a bit hippie-ish, like peace, love, and understanding, right? But I think there's a lot to that. You have to have understanding for other people's choices. And that can't be only restricted to when you agree with those choices, or when you can picture yourself doing the same choice. I think that's a good theme for today. So I guess this became a little bit of a rant in the forest.